How would you like to visit some of the world's most inspired designs and be amazed by some of the seminal work of Barcelona's most famous architect? Or would you rather enjoy a nice long walk along the beautiful Mediterranean Sea at Barcelona's port? Or maybe it's just as exciting to go out for a night on the town and enjoy some fine Spanish-style cuisine and taste some of Spain's most decadent wines. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join your host, Adam Kaplowitz, to meet the next new director, Brian DeVivo.
Thank you for joining us today, the new directors. All the people involved with the program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling, audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you're about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they are planning about themselves, the productions they are planning, and to give you a chance to know them and watch their progress through the semester. Our guest today is an NCC student in the film and TV production course and a renowned traveler who has had the opportunity to travel over a dozen cities worldwide. He also has an interest in travel, dining, and historical sites. Today's guest, Brian DeVivo.
Adam?
Hi. So, Brian, we are told that you are a renowned traveler and have visited numerous cities around the world. If you briefly describe any of these places, which city would you most want to visit again?
Yes, well, a few years ago I had the opportunity to visit Barcelona, Spain, which had to be one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. With rich cultural history, delicious cuisine, Barcelona has almost anything to do year-round and is a definite must-see for anybody. Some of my favorite places to visit included visiting Antoni Gaudi's monumental La Sagrada Familia, which was constructed in the early 1900s and is still undergoing construction today. It won't be done until about the year 2026. I also visited his beloved Casa Mila, where he became known as God's architect. I got the chance to walk around the aqueducts of Barcelona's Tarragona region, which were constructed around the 3rd or 4th century BCE during the height of the Roman Empire. I also had the opportunity to enjoy some fine Mediterranean-style dishes along the harbor of Barcelona, also known as Puerto de Barcelona. I also took a trip out to some local vineyards in the surrounding region of Barcelona, sampled some of John Leon's vineyard's elegant wines. Also, no night is complete without visiting any of Barcelona's amazing nightlife. It has some of the best scenery in the world, whether it's going to the local discotecas and enjoying the night scene, taking a walk along the Olympic Village, visiting Plaza España and just viewing the scenery, or going to Camp Nou to watch a friendly soccer game, the home of FC Barça, or also known as Barcelona's premier soccer team.
Interesting. Could you tell us why you joined TV production?
Certainly. I've always had a passion for television production. When I started off in college, I got involved with the WTOP and WNYO programs at SUNY Oswego, our radio stations and television stations. I had a weekly talk show about sports and urban radio. I also had the opportunity to meet Al Roker and get to converse with him and learn a little bit more about the television studios. Later, I had an opportunity to get an internship with ESPN, where I learned a lot more about television production and the post-production side of things. I wanted to learn about post-production in the hopes that it might be able to help me find a career in the media industry.
Okay, that's interesting. Tell me what are some of the most important things you learned in the TV production course?
Well, I learned how to operate cameras and use basic techniques like zooming, different shot types, shift focused, sequencing, and composition. I also really enjoyed what I learned behind the scenes in the control room, mainly dealing with switching, audio, the use of Avid and the computer and the character generator. I also really enjoyed working with the teleprompter. But I really felt that it was necessary to learn Avid because of the use of the effects editor, dissolving, rendering effects, and in Avid it allows you to get a better understanding of what goes on in the post-production.
Cool. Could you tell us about the things you've created in the TV production course?
Certainly. Let's start off with the sequence project that I worked on. In this project, I emphasized the different shot types to make a sense of direction, or the 180 line. I wanted to keep the audience's interest without having to jump the 180 line and lose their interest. I demonstrated different camera angles, low-level shots, close-ups, extreme close-ups, medium shots, in order to emphasize the importance of the individual in the sequence.
Yeah, it looks very, very nice.
Next, I'd like to talk about the Guns N' Hoses project. This 30-second commercial showed simple composition, and in the project, it involved detail to sequencing, getting to know timing right, and personally, I had the opportunity to use titling and audio to this 30-second sequence. The 30-second commercial really emphasizes composition because it's the standard for what you would use for any normal commercial today. The next project I'd like to talk about is the most entertaining and at the same time most time-consuming. This would be my Orange project. I showed a variety of camera angles to get the shots needed and keep viewers interested. One of the most difficult things was trying not to cross the 180 line. That way I did not lose the audience's attention. And the other was being able to keep up with my actor because to get him into focus, there was a lot of movement going on. The final one I'd like to talk about was the fall foliage project. I used many different compositions to get the fall foliage shots that I was looking for. I followed the 6 guidelines to good photogenic composition using simplicity, rule of thirds, emotional lines, lines of grace, framing lines, and converging lines. I also tried to keep a good balance.
Okay, all right. So now, I said this before, but now that have you felt like you've had one project that was your best, that stands out in front of the other ones?
Yes, I would say that my Orange project I felt was my best project. As I mentioned before, it was also the most challenging one that I did. This was because of the array of camera angles that I had to use. I also felt that this was most entertaining for me because I found a way to incorporate a fight scene and a chase scene in the end. And this was able to give suspense to the audience in order to show how important the orange was to the actors. I wanted to really portray why they were chasing the orange and why it was so important. The most important thing I really learned about this project was the attention to detail that it was needed in order to place sequencing and the way I could get scenes to flow without making as few mistakes as possible.
After learning how to shoot and edit these projects, what would you like to create next?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. From what I've learned from all of these projects, I would like to take from what I learned from the Fall Foliage project and apply it to visiting places in Europe. Places like Rome, the Vatican City, or Amsterdam. I would like to try and capture the essence of that city and use everything that I learned, the different sequences that I learned with the Fall Foliage project. After that, I would like to try my luck with Russia or maybe Australia.
Wow, that's interesting. Today we got to meet someone who shared with us the elegance of Barcelona, Spain, as a new TV director and hopes to apply what he has learned at NCC to document other travel experiences. He also plans to use his knowledge from Television One to edit traveling videos in the future. We would like to thank Brian for joining us today.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoy meeting one of the television's future directors, and we hope you'll continue to join us each week as we watch him in progress. And thank you, and have a good day.